Hello, and welcome to episode 50 of Things I've Learned from Barry Harris. Today I thought we would talk about taking a phrase or practicing a phrase on a dominant chord and taking it through the bridge of rhythm changes. I got rhythm. And in this case, we'll do it in the key of B flat. And the bridge for I got rhythm is, in case you don't know, would be D7 for 2 measures, G7 for 2 measures, C7 for 2 measures, and then F7 for 2 measures. So the scales that Barry likes to play so that you get to hear the changes would be D7 up and down, G7 up and down, C7 up and down, F7 up and down. Now, whatever phrase we come up with, we're going to try to apply to D7, to G7, to C7, and to F7. And I think for guitar players in particular, what would be kind of interesting, and also so that you could start to see different fingerings in different spots of the instrument, is being able to do it kind of in one position. You could play a phrase and then just move it around like guitar players know how to move things around so that they can have the exact same fingering each time, which is fine, but it's probably also better to see if you can do it in one position. So we'll take a phrase. One of the things that Barry likes to do is his rule for half steps, let's say. And one of the rules for half steps is if you start on a tonic and you descend, you're going to put 1 half step between tonic and 7. So for D7, we'll start on the tonic and we'll run down, we'll descend, and we'll put 1 half step between tonic and 7, which would be between D and C. Let's just do. Okay, so now we have that together. Now, one interesting thing is that half step doesn't necessarily have to be there. It doesn't have to be between tonic and 7. It could be, I started practicing where, and I'm sure he said it, Barry has said it before, but instead of the between the tonic and 7, I make the half step the 6. So the note that I put in between tonic and 7 is no longer the major 7, it's the 6. So now you get this. Instead of, you get this, which has a different sound to it and sounds kind of good. So if we were going to do that on all the different chords for the I got rhythm, you'd have to do it in D7, 3, 4, and then the same thing for G7. So you could say, or you could do it here. And then for C7, obviously guitar player would just move down a whole step. And then would move up to the F7 right here. Or you could do it here. But my idea was just try to keep it within the first couple of, between like the 5th and 8th fret or somewhere around there. So if we started and we said 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 1. 3, 4, 1. So let's see. 3, 4, 1. Oh, geez. Okay, so let's do that again. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Would be for the C7. So let's do start on D7. 1, 2, 3. G7. C7. Then F7. So that's nice to do within one position. So you can come up with anything. So another rule that Barry has is, let's go back to putting a half step between tonic and 7. Another rule that Barry has is if you start on a note and you run up to any other note and you come back down, you still use the rule for the note that you started on. So for instance, if I started on tonic for D and ran up, let's say, to the 3rd and back down, I'm still going to put 1 half step in between tonic and 7. So let's say 1, 2, 3. Let's run down to 3rd. So 1, 2, 3. should do that on G7. Then you should do it on C7. And you should do it on F7. So let's see if I can do the whole thing. 1, 2, 3. So also you could try to put little triplets in certain places. So let's see, I'll just add some triplets. 1, 2, 3. Nice to take a little phrase and to be able to do it in one position. So anything. Another thing is if you go up a third, starting on a note, going up a third, the next note that you hit is going to be the rule that you use. So for instance, if I say, now I end on the second, so I play tonic, third. Now the next note I hit is the second. We're going to use the rule for the second, which let's say would be 2 half steps. So 1, 2, 3. Now the 2 half steps are going to be between second and tonic, tonic and 7. So now we'll say, same thing here. So that's the whole bridge of I Got Rhythm. Now that's if we went up a third. So that was kind of a nice little. Let's do triplets now. 1, 2, 3. So again, taking a simple phrase, using one of Barry's ideas, one of his rules, and saying, let me see what I can do with it. These are just his half-step rules. I'm going to make a video about half-steps because a lot of people are asking me about them. But remember, Barry's rules for half-steps, he came up with them because he had really transcribed a lot of Charlie Parker, and he noticed that there were certain similar things that he did where he put the half steps. So he noticed he put the half step between second and tonic and 7. Or he noticed he put the half step between 3 and 2, 2 and 1 and tonic 7 in certain spots. Or he noticed tonic and 7 in certain spots and so on. So he came up with these rules. Now, basically the half steps, the way you can look at it is it's a rhythmic placeholder. So in other words, it's to get you from this point to this point, but so that you still stay in rhythm or on the beat. So for instance, if we took a look at D7, let's say, and we said, okay, so the first rule for the half step is between tonic and 7, right? But again, what if I said, well, I forget about the tonic and 7. I want to make my half step on the 6. So I'll do this instead. Instead of putting it between D and C, I'm going to put D, B, C. And then let's start from 2, no half steps. Now let's say 2, we do use the half step between second and tonic. But then when we get to the tonic, we're not going to use the major 7. We're going to still use that 6. So it would be this. Now we got something different happening. It used to be this, which sounds good, but this sounds good too. Now let's use 3. Now 3 normally would be 1 half step, or this is the normal half step, which is between tonic and 7 again. But let's use my 6, let's say. Now 3 half steps is normally between 3 and 2, 2 and 1, and tonic and 7. So this is what it would sound like, which is great. But what if I used, instead of 3, between 3 and 2, I used 4. So now I said, instead of this note. So now we got 3, 4. Now I'm still going to use the half step between second and tonic. But then when I get to tonic, I'm still going to use my 6. So now that gives you this, which is really pretty. I mean, you just start coming up with things, and this is the difference in between, as far as I'm concerned, between Barry's method and everybody else's method, is that it hands you over this knowledge, this understanding about how scales move and how rhythm moves, and it allows you to come up with phrases that Charlie Parker never came up with. And there's nothing wrong with saying that. It's not saying your phrases are better than Charlie Parker, but it is a way of creating, of using these principles to create instead of just copy. Because copying Charlie Parker phrases is beautiful and it's great and it's nice to get into your fingers. But if you go on to a jam session or you're on a gig and you play nothing but Charlie Parker phrases, that's not really what the music is about. The music is supposed to be about progressing or moving forward, and you can't move forward by playing somebody else's phrases that they played, 60 years ago. That's not the way to do it. The proper way to do it is to take these principles that Barry's laid out for us and try to create our own phrases with them, which is extremely important, and it's the only thing that's going to propel the music, as opposed to keep it stagnant. So, and this is what makes Barry's system and Barry's way of explaining things so special, is that it does allow you to do this. So every single person that watches this video, if they went home and put half steps in different spots, will all have something different to play, and we would all sound different, every one of us. Just imagine that. That would be pretty incredible. So, touched on a couple of things in this video, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed episode 50. So until next time, thanks.